What is up, you guys? Welcome to another video. It's Dom, and it's going to be for Divine Multimedia, and today we're going to be talking about brand foundations. So in this video, we are going to be talking about brand foundations and developing an exquisite brand built to last decades. And as you can see here, we have the Louvre, because I think it's very on brand for the project I'm building, and it resembles the exact steps you need, the base, the foundation, in order to get up to the top. Let's go and talk about the brand foundations. These are going to be the stepping stones you need to place in order to build your brand on top of. Without these, your brand is going to be undefined, it's not going to be clear, it's not going to be concise. So by having clear definitions for your principles, your values, your vision, and your purpose, you can go ahead and build upon that to where you want to push your drive, where you want to push your desires, and how you want to infuse your creative DNA. So a lot of people are really not too sure how to build a brand or how to make themselves a personal brand. And that's why I would love to introduce you guys to the concept of Ikigai. If you guys are not sure what Ikigai is, it is a concept from Japanese culture, I believe, and it combines the three facets of being able to make money in your marketplace, being able to combine it with something that excites you and fuels your curiosity, and also combining it with something that helps develop a skill of yours, a talent of yours, being able to master something. Discover your passion, pursue it, and let it guide your choices. And when you find purpose, you can figure out how you can offer it to the world, integrating your talents and what you can master so you can be rewarded for the service you provide. You are your own unique niche, so you cannot compete with anyone and no one can compete with you. By positioning yourself this way and your personal brand, you're able to be a monopoly in your own industry. By you figuring out your Ikigai and figuring out your brand, you create your own unique niche and your own unique positioning of your personal brand. I do want to talk more about the Ikigai system because you want to find exactly what you're passionate about, what stirs the pot of curiosity for you, and what is something that gets you wanting to learn, what gets you wanting to do more of it. And combining it and figuring out what talents do you have, what strengths do you have, what skills do you have. And if you guys don't have any, well, figure out which ones you would like to develop, which ones intrigue you, which ones make you curious to learn. And by doing so, you can figure out, okay, what does the market need, what does the world need, and how can I offer it to the world? How can I make the world want my service, my brand, my business? And some elements to go into developing the foundation of your brand is to look at the core values. What beliefs does your brand have? What culture does it stem from? What is the voice, the feeling, the impact your brand has? By clarifying your why and your position in your audience, you're able to have a more concrete foundation on what it is that you're building and why. After you have defined 1 and 2, go ahead and move on to step 3, which is developing your persona. This is your brand's ego, your personality, and your dialogue. So this is going to contribute to how you're going to emanate your brand, how you're going to speak to your customers. And this is developed through your mission, your goals, your purpose, your true line, and your tagline. I would do like to say the mission and goals and purpose should have been thought of in step 1, but at step 3, you should really have an underlying definition of what that is. And the true line and tagline is going to take some time to refine, but having 5 to 10 different true line tagline potentialities is also a good idea to have. Even asking ChatGPT to come up with a tagline or a true line for you based off the ideas you've generated. Step number 4 is where you want to gather the visuals that reflect 1 to 3. So what logo, what elements, what fonts, what colors, and what icons, what symbols, what inspirators, what people does your brand look up to, and incorporate what you just defined into the visual aspect of it. And for number 5, once we have all this laid out, now we have a cohesive brand that is strong, focused, and has a clear message. Then we can go on to how do we want our brand to emanate in the world? How do we want our brand to exist in the world? And it all stems from your beliefs. What beliefs do you have about the world that you want to emanate into your purpose, into what are you going to do about it, to your action steps? Within those action steps, What is the vision? What is the outcome that you're trying to achieve by that? This is going to dictate the world you will create around your brand. And when doing so, then you want to go ahead and figure out, okay, who do I need to be, and who do the people in my community, of the brand community, need to be and behave in order to live out the belief of the brand. From strategy to identity to every brand experience and activation, we unlock the power of belief to transform business, people, and the world. And in the next slide, we're going to go ahead and talk about different brand strategies and different ways to develop your brand identity so you can go ahead and activate that into the real world. So you guys probably have seen this in a past video of mine. This is the brand strategy graph I like to use to see exactly what direction do I want to have my brand go in, and exactly how do I want to express my brand. And so let's go ahead and start off with the direction portion. It's very good to get clear on where you want to go to from A to B. And so that is developed firstly, as you can see in the left column, by your vision, values, mission, and purpose. You guys should have these already defined, already laid out. And that is going to be the actual substance. How do you want to position it in the marketplace? Who do you want your audience to be? Take a look at your different competitors. What are they doing differently? What are you doing differently? And with doing so, you can go ahead and see, okay, how can I create my own unique position in the marketplace aside from my competitors? What makes me stand out from my competitors? And this is where you go into the character portion of it, which goes into your brand voice and your personality. How do you want to be as a brand? How do you want to speak to your customers? We lead on to the expression of the brand, so the messaging, the story, the name, the tagline, the promise, and then towards the end you want to go ahead and get more of a visual aspect of the aesthetics of your brand, the presence you want your brand to have in the world, and the identity you want the brand to have. Like, essentially, a brand is a reputation. What reputation do you want of your brand from an outsider's perspective? After we have an overview of our brand strategy, of our brand direction, of our brand expression, we can go ahead and look into brand strengthening and being able to persuade people with our brand. So in the strengthening aspect, I also got this from a mentor as well, who helped me a lot with developing not only my personal brand, but different brands, different projects that we can use this information towards. So the credo, what does your brand stand for? Figure out a clear definition, figure out exactly what sounds passionate, what sounds strong for your brand to represent. Then you want to go into story, the story of where your brand came from. You want to have a good, clear origin story of where your brand came from, so that way people can better understand, okay, this is the evolution of the brand, and this is where it's at now, and this is where it's going. And then icons is how you want to be recognized. That could include the icons is how you want to be recognized. What icons do you want to be a part of your brand? And that goes from symbols, it could be visual icons, it could be iconic people like mentors. Who does your brand look up to? Inspirators. And yeah, this is going to be how you're recognized. People are going to know that is the face of this brand, that these are the people that belong to this brand. Next thing you want to look at is the routines. Thinking of how you want your customers, your clients, your audience, your community, how do you want them to interact with you on a daily basis? That can be having weekly calls. That can be if you guys are building a clothing brand. That could be the routine of, if it's a athleisure company, athleisure clothing brand, the routine can simply be putting on the joggers, putting on the sweats, putting on the sweater in order to go for a workout, go for a run. So that is how you want to incorporate routines. How does the people interact with you? Number 5 is the leader. It could be you as the leader, or it could be your team as the leader. But what are the strengths and weaknesses of the leaders? And how are you guys how are you guys using your strengths to advantages, and how are you guys working on your weaknesses in order to have an opportunity for growth? And number 6 is enemies. is who you don't stand for. These are the non-believers. These are the people that don't stand with your brand. They stand against your brand. And it's good to have a juxtaposition against these people, because your brand is not going to be for everyone. If you try to sell to everyone, you're going to sell to no one. The next thing you want to do is look at the ways of persuasion. This goes into social proof. What social authority do you have? What authority in your industry do you have? How are people liking you, your leaders, your icons, your routines, your story? How are they liking the brand? And number 4 is reciprocity. How are they giving back? How are you giving back to your community? And are they giving out the same energy? Number 5 is scarcity. Scarcity can be like a limited amount of seats within the brand's community, or a limited amount of spots within the masterclass. Incorporate scarcity can really help persuade people to become part of your brand, as well as having brand consistency and being consistent on putting out value, putting out content, and engaging with your brand's community. That's another way you can persuade people to come to your brand. And after you guys have a clear definition of exactly your brand identity, your brand strategy, your brand expression, to your positioning and all that, then you guys can go ahead and focus on the content pillars. So on this content pillars page, I kind of was inspired by Dan Koe. If you guys don't know who Dan Koe is, I recommend you check him out. He is very much a YouTuber about the creator economy and how to turn your interests, your passions into your own business, into your own personal brand. And one thing he mentions is that your goals become your brand. The problems that you encounter becomes the content that you produce. The systems that you have in order to overcome those problems makes your product. And the benefits that you get from those systems, from overcoming your problems, is the marketing for that. And with doing so, when having these things simplified and listed, you can go ahead and create content through the creation domain, making content surrounded by your principles, different topics. For the topics, I like to do a web diagram and seeing exactly how different topics connect to each other. That can give you a good idea on what content to create and how many different styles to create it. Another thing you could do is introducing some mentors you've had, some of their knowledge, some of their expertise, creating content around them, maybe even interviewing them. Some other content you can create is by making your own connections. What can you connect from a topic of your brand to something that is related or outside of your brand? For example, for my personal project, yes, it is about self-growth, but self-growth also connects to mindset. Self-growth also connects to fitness and health and lifestyle. So finding these different connections you can make, and you guys can even go deeper. Like how does self-growth and health and fitness correlate? Like how does it affect the mind? How does it affect the body? What chemistry does it create in the mind and the body? Just like elaborating on these type of connections can really help make you guys content. Another good thing to make content around is real world problems. Figuring out how your brand relates to problems in the real world, whether that be the economy or through political things or through, or even if it's just voicing a perspective, voicing a change. How can you make it connect to real world problems? And yeah, I think that is it for this. And once you guys have all that, honestly, you guys can become your own brand and emanate your own personal brand. You guys can build up to this lifestyle and be able to monetize your life and let your lifestyle be the brand. As you can see with a lot of other creators in this industry, like Iman Gadzhi, he started off recording all his videos in his bedroom, and now he's living in Dubai and traveling the world. And he makes content from that, and he loves doing it, and people are inspired by it. That's pretty much it I wanted to give out on this video. I'm gonna make more videos when it comes to creating your lifestyle as a brand and getting to that point and emanating and inspiring other people. But until then, guys, I will catch you guys later.